bitter criticism. Bitter criticism on news. The news today are not so important, but it's just the daily analysis of what's happening in Russia. Most of in Russia, most of it. I mean, most of I forgot how to say it. The most part of Russia. I mean, this is we are kind of supporting Russia, but also we are criticizing Russia. Like the previous episodes, I guess there was an article. I guess the article was wrong. The article was wrong about African constitutionary law, something like that. You know, the traditions, African traditions. I guess all kind of traditions, they are not so important. You know, I guess secularism is more important. But anyway, here we are with our broke screen. My laptop screen is broke. Anyway, I will just keep reading Russia, the war column. Home Russia and former Soviet Union, April 9, April 10. This is from this very day. This is from today. Zelensky is Pinocchio, officer tells the New Yorker. The president claimed that just 31,000 Ukrainian troops were killed in action. Obfuscates reality. There will be maybe there's more people. 31,000, according to magazine interview. Zelensky's Pinocchio, officers tells the New Yorker. File photo, flags fly over the graves of killed soldiers. Ukrainian frontline casualties are far higher than what that country's leadership is willing to admit, according to the New Yorker. It's not the New York Times anymore. So I guess Russia today is doing the same thing as I, but they do better because they are covering for a whole country. You know, I'm just covering to myself. So they are reading the New York Times, the New Yorker. The New Yorker seems to be a magazine. I never read New Yorker. Well, I guess I'm super ignorant. I will be ignorant forever. But I will keep reading Russia Today. Why not? Ukrainian frontline casualties are far higher than what... Yeah, I just read that. The American magazine published on Monday a deep dive into frontline realities of Ukraine conflict, based on what reported Luke Mogelson witnessed in January while he was embedded in one of the most motivated and well-equipped Ukrainian units. He mentioned hearing of an acquaintance of his, an infantry officer, with whom he worked on another story a year ago. The news was that one of his former soldiers had been killed, to which Mogelson replied that the best Ukrainian man appeared to be dying these days. It's just too hot now. Tommy Dog over here is funny because he's also suffering from heat now. So what a strange day we had today. It was very cold in the morning and now it's very hot. So it sucks, you know. This temperature changing, it really sucks, you know. He mentioned hearing of an acquaintance. Everyone dies here, the source responded. The best, the worst. We remember the bright, strong personalities. Everyone else just fades into nothingness. Yeah, that's war. The report source went on to compare Vladimir Zelensky to Pinocchio, the children's book character whose nose grows when he tells lies. The dismissive characterization of the president was over his claiming in February that only 31,000 Ukrainian troops have been killed in action. That figure didn't include those missing in action, who constitute a huge part of our losses. The officer told the New Yorker. Zelensky cited the figure during a press conference to contrast it with Russian estimates of Russian casualties, which he describes as lies that President Vladimir Putin and his two-faced associates tell. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu put Ukrainian military losses since January at over 80,000. In an update last week, last month he said that total Ukrainian casualties since the hostilities started in February 2022 has surpassed 444,000. The New Yorker's correspondent followed the exploits of 4 separate assault battalions of Ukraine's 59th Infantry Brigade. The unit is also known as Da Vinci Wolves, after its former commander, Dmitry Da Vinci Kotsubailo. The far-right activist turned military leader was killed in action in March 2023. His replacement, Sergei Filiminov, is a fellow Ukrainian nationalist and took charge in February. Some of these latest posts on social media celebrate the killings of Russian concert goers in the terrorist attack of Crocus City Hall venue last month. Well, I don't know what to say. It will be 1 million Ukrainian dead. So that's it. I mean, Ukraine just lost the war. They just lost this battle. It's time to give up, you know. Home Africa, April 10, 2024. UK to start deporting migrants to African nation within weeks. Prime Minister, the announcement comes even as a bill promoting Rwanda as a safe haven. I'm not sure what haven means. Haven, haven, not heaven, you know. It's not heaven like the Eden. It's not like that. It's heaven. Anyway, Rwanda is a safe haven. Rwanda is a safe haven. It is still being debated in the British Parliament. The announcement comes even as a bill promoting UK to start deporting migrants to African nations within weeks, Prime Minister. Britain's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak greets Rwanda's President Paul Kagame on the steps of 10 Downing Street in central London on April 9, 2024. Ahead, this is the photograph, yeah. Britain, the forced deportation flights under Britain's controversial scheme to send thousands of asylum seekers to Rwanda will take place in the spring. The office of Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announced it on Tuesday. The plan continues to face opposition from prime ministers as human rights bodies, including the UN. The decision was made during a meeting between Sunak and Rwandan President Paul Kagame, who traveled to the UK and was welcomed at Downing Street, according to a statement. The two leaders discussed the pioneering UK and Rwanda migration and economic development partnership, which will break the business model of criminal gangs risking lives at sea, the Prime Minister's office said. Both leaders looked forward to flight departing to Rwanda in the spring, it added. I just want to comment two things. This Sunak guy is... He can be an Indian... He can have an Indian ancestry, but she's just behaving just like a fascist. So I guess this is this is just what the United States did with Obama. The United States needed to keep the war industry going, so what they needed was a Nobel Prize, a peace Nobel Prize like Obama, just to, how to say, to hide, you know, to hide their real intentions, their real material intentions, like doing war, you know. Or this guy, this Sunak guy, Indian ancestry guy, to just keep deporting Africans. So this is a pretty sad things to do, you know, if a country doesn't welcome anyone. Like this very country, Chile, there's a huge polemic here about taking or not taking, about taking refugees, you know, from Venezuela. Yeah, I support Maduro regime, but I guess the problem with Maduro is the United Kingdom blockade, you know. That's the problem with even stealing, you know, United Kingdom, and they want to steal even Russian gold, you know. So in my opinion, the huge problem of this world is Anglo-imperialism. That's it. That's the big problem. But that's it. They take this Indian guy just to deport African people. What about that? Such a sad thing. It's funny because he's a color guy. Sunak is like a black, and maybe he will be deported himself, you know. Aqui, so we have a problem of this is another guy. So our studio here. Our studio is no longer a reserve place, you know. There's this guy with two Akita dogs. They just keep coming here. The good thing is that we are forced here. And well, I'm not sure if this guy wants to come here. Anyway, just I will just keep reading the news. The decision. The two leaders discussed the decision was made during a meeting between Sunak and Rwandan President Paul Kagame, who traveled to the UK and was welcomed at Downing Street, according to a statement. The two leaders discussed the pioneering UK and Rwanda migration and economic development partnership, which will break the business model of criminal gangs risking lives at sea, the Prime Minister's office said. So I'm not sure why, but somehow the UK is broke. You know, they are stealing money from Russia, Venezuela, and they are not allowing more people to go. So if you are thinking about going to the UK, think twice, because they are not a friendly country. They have a lot of problems. My opinion, of course, is just liberalism. This the natural order of things, you know. That's liberalism. That always been natural liberalism. Both leaders looked towards to fly departing to Rwanda in the spring, he added. London reached an agreement with Rwanda in April 2022 for illegal immigrants to be sent to the East African nation in June of the same year. However, the first flight was cancelled following intervention by the European Court of Human Rights, ECHR. The plan has also been ruled illegal by the UK's highest court, which has deemed Rwanda unsafe for deportees. Para allá. Sale. Those akitas were huge. I have no idea where that guy goes. Maybe he's going to the cliff. That cliffs are such a nice place to go. Actually. Yeah, so all fine. So yeah, this news is not so great. I don't care about Sunak. Sunak is such a fascist leader. He's just like Obama. This is just all this was just, I don't remember. Oh, I forgot the word. Simulacrum, yeah. Obama and Sunak, they are both simulacrum, you know. They supposed to be great because of racial issues, because of identitarism, but well, Obama is one of the genocides in history, and Sunak is just a fascist. So there's no racial democracy. Well, no racial democracy. Sunak is a fascist, a brown fascist. I will call this headline Sunak is a brown fascist. What about that? So we have more news, but I'm gonna skip the UK news from Russia Today. Russia Today is always fighting against the UK for historical and geopolitical reasons. Tommy! This news is interesting. Russia Today, April 10th, 2024. Home business news. Russian banks' profits could beat 2023 record central bank. The regulator has improved its 2024 forecast despite sanctions. Russian banks' profits could beat 2023 record central bank. We have a photograph. The current year could prove even more profitable for Russian banks than record-breaking 2023. So oil is a good business for Russia, isn't it? I guess it's all about oil. Last year, a sharp rise in mortgages, as well as consumer and corporate lending, resulted in banks posting profits of 3.3 trillion rubles, $35.4 billion, despite Western sanctions on the economy. The increase in lending took place despite the sharp rise of the key interest rate from 7.5% to 16%. The record earnings were also attributed to the restoration of basic income. A significant reduction in expenses associated with reserves and income received from a currency revaluation. We expect banking sector profits to be either at 2023 levels or slightly above, Polyakova said. This represents an increase from previous forecasts. As in March, the regulator estimated the sector's 2024 profits to be between 2.3 to 2.8 trillion rubles, 24.6 to $30 billion. You know, I don't understand almost nothing about the economy, you know. I have no idea if I have $30 trillion in my bank account. I guess not. I guess not in my bank account. But you know, Russia is a huge country. They should have. I'm not sure if they should have more or less money. Understand? So that's why I don't understand these numbers, these figures. We express banking sector profits to be either at 2023 levels or slightly above, Polyakova said. This represents an increase from the previous forecast, as in March the regulator estimated the sector's 2024 profits to be between 2.3. Yeah, I just read that. The Russian banking sector found itself under unprecedented sanctions pressure in 2022 following the start of Moscow's special military operation in Ukraine. Most Russian banks were cut off from the Western financial system. The key financial institutions were from using the SWIFT clearing mechanism. The Bank of Russia, however, had been prepared to deal with the situation. However, there was initially imposed sanctions on Moscow in 2014 following the Crimean referendum that resulted in the region joining Russia. At the time, the financial sector was targeted with sanctions. Major banks were restricted from access to Western debt and capital markets. In response, the central bank started to ramp up the country's financial sovereignty by developing its own payment system. The regulator also obligated Western payment systems like Visa and MasterCard to transfer card transactions proceeding in Russia to newly created national payment system. The measures helped avoid a collapse in payments when Russian banks were cut off from Visa and MasterCard in 2022. In 2022, the central bank provided the Russian banking sector with unprecedented regulatory relief, which also helped them withstand the shock. At that time, banks set aside enough financial reserves, and when the country's economy adjusted to the sanctions, the banks were able to start increasing profits. The share of non-performing loans, NLP, remains low in Russia, especially mortgage lending. According to a recent estimate, the share of NPLs stood at 0.5% of the mortgage segment in 2023. You know, you can see Tommy over there. This dog, Tommy, look at Tommy. Tommy is just waiting for the Akitas. Tommy. Tommy's mentality is a warrior. This dog over here, he's a warrior. He just will fight. This dog is terrible, absolutely terrible. Well, some Akita dog, I guess it's terrible too. You know, the Akita go down here, and the Akita listens something, and the Akita just came here. You know, just to without a fear. You know, though that Akita, that black Akita over there, is fearless, and Tommy is a hell. Well, I will bet on Tommy, but I like Tommy too, you know. Tommy, behave, you know. Behave, Tommy. Come here. Tommy, venga. Aquí. Forget about the Akita. Forget about the Akita. Terrible dog. The Russian banking sector found itself on the... I just lost myself. At the time, the financial sector was targeted with sanctions. Major banks were restricted from access to Western debt and capital markets. In response, the central bank started to ramp up the country's financial sovereignty by developing its own payment system. The regulator also obliged. I just read that. "2023 best year even for Russian banks." This is another news. In 2022, the central bank provided the Russian banking sector with unprecedented regulatory relief, which also helped them withstand the shock. At that time, banks set aside enough financial reserves, and when the country's economy adjusted to the sanctions, the banks were able to start increasing profits. The share of non-performing loans, NLP, remains low in Russia, especially in mortgage lending. According to a recent estimate, the share of NPLs stood at 0.5% of the mortgage segment in 2023. Zero idea about what I'm reading. I have zero idea. Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin suggested that last week the bank's dividends could be used as a means of redistributing the lender's soaring profits to the federal budget. The Prime Minister proposed the idea in response to lawmakers suggesting the introduction of an excess profits tax. Well, I should do a MBA on economics to understand something. But I don't care. I don't really care about economics. I do, but no, you know, I like economy, but I just don't understand. I just never never pay attention. I never studied. I'm just gonna jump to the CNBC news, the Cgtn, I mean, yeah. Ford International Consumer Products Expo to showcase China's dual circulation. China, April 10th from today. Cgtn, an aerial photo, yeah. The photograph, the fourth China International Consumer Products Expo, CICPE, will commence on Saturday in Haikou, the capital of South China's Hainan province. I love you, Hainan. You know, I never say that in this show, in this channel, but I just fall in love with a Chilean woman, a young Chilean woman. I cannot say his name because I guess she don't like me back. She don't love me back. So what a I don't know, uncomfortable situation for her, isn't it? So I will not, and I'm not such a popular guy because I'm pro-Russia, pro-China, communist, you know. So right here in Chile, if you are a communist, you will have no popularity at all, because wokeism is the popularity, you know. The wokeism is the norm. Anyway, but I love her anyway. She's super smart, beautiful, and that's it. The fourth China International Consumer Product Expo, CICPE, will commence on Saturday in Haikou, the capital of South China's Hainan province. Well, when I think about Hainan, I just think about beautiful girls having babies in Hainan, taking an ice cream of tropical fruits. A global platform that displays and trade high-end consumer products. This year's CICPE has an exhibition. I will call this SICPE. Has an exhibition area named Dual Circulation Global Buying that includes exhibitors for duty-free and e-commerce businesses. Chinese consumers can purchase quality products made by foreign brands duty-free from exhibitors. From the exhibitors in this area without going abroad or even leaving their homes. The exhibition area is expected to showcase the country's consumption power, facilitate the construction of the free trade port, and contribute to the establishment of the new development paradigm of dual circulation. Dual circulation, the new development paradigm China adopted in 2020, takes the domestic market as the mainstay while allowing domestic and foreign markets to reinforce each other. The system was rolled out based on changes in China's development conditions domestically and internationally. With a population of over 1.4 billion and a middle income group of more than 400 million, stable demand for the world's largest consumer-based service as a crucial pillar for the global economy. Meanwhile, in recent years, along with the changes in the global political and economic environment, the upsurge in deglobalization and the unilateralist and protectionist acts by certain countries, the transitional global circulation has been notably weakened. I guess the United States of America, France, As a result, Beijing urges efforts to root the country's development inside the country and rely more on the domestic market to achieve economic growth. Thus, the new development paradigm doesn't mean China is withdrawing to its domestic market and shying away from the world. Quite the opposite, Beijing continues to facilitate its huge domestic market to foreigners and hold the Cgtn is a practical move to serve the establishment of the new paradigm. According to Vice Minister of Commerce Sheng Qiuping, China's retail sales of consumer goods, a major indicator of consumption strength, climbed 5.5% year-on-year in the first 2 months of 2024 to 8.13 trillion yuan, about $1.15 trillion, revealing the resilience and vitality of the country's consumer market. By attending the expo, foreign enterprises will not only have the opportunity to enhance their brand image, but also to take advantage of the expo's spillover effects and Hainan's tax exception policies to enter the vast Chinese consumer market. This year's expo will boast a sprawling floor area of 158,000 square meters. Oh, the guy's here again. I mean, I guess that's it. You know, such a pain in the ass, this guy, you know? Oh, fuck. No, this guy just go down. This is a guy with 2 Akitas. If this guy come right now, I will give up. It is strange because this guy seems like he is going down the road, but who knows if he appears again there. I hope she goes down the hell. No, you know, I don't care, but why not to go other way? You know, go to hell, dude, with your Akitas, dude. Anyway. So more 7 minutes. Yeah, that news was not so interesting. It was just an expo in Hainan, my beloved land. I was living in Bahia, Brazil, and there was true unsafety, you know. It was nice, it was tropical, but it was unsafe. There was too much robbery. I guess Hainan, there's no robbery at all, I guess. I'm just gonna try to read this. China deepens from an opening up appeals to global investors. Asia, March 28. This news is kind of old. Zhao Leji, chairman of the National People's Congress Standing Committee, delivers a keynote speech at the opening ceremony of the Boao Forum for Asia Annual Conference 2024 in Boao, South China's Hainan province. Yeah, go Hainan. Why not? Hainan is so tropical. China is so safe. And tropical lands have so much love and tropical fruits. Why not to have a cupuaçu ice cream in Hainan? A passion fruit. Do you know passion fruit is not that great? It's too sour. That's it. It's just sour. The opening ceremony of the Boao Forum for Asia BFA Annual Conference 2024 was held in Boao, South China's Hainan province on Thursday, with China's top legislator Zhao Leji stressing China's economic potential, appealing to international investors and calling for Asia's solidarity and cooperation for regional prosperity. In his keynote speech, I guess I read that. Zhao, chairman of the National People's Congress Standing Committee, highlighted that China is pursuing a path of high-quality development and is deepening reform and opening up, which he said will provide great development opportunities for Asia and the world. Investing in China is investing in the future. China has set an economic growth target of around 5%. I guess I just read this in other... I guess I just read it. So I guess I have no more news. No, I have one more news here, look. The China dumping clean tech argument is damaging the US. Opinion. Yeah, finally an opinion from Cgtn. April 9, from yesterday. Editor's note: before going on her second trip to China, US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen took a shot at China's clean energy exports. She warned that China is dumping cheap clean energy products on the world, depressing market prices and squeezing green manufacturing in the United States. On the sidelines of an event titled "Five Countries," think tank Joint Research Report released an international symposium on China's compounding interest, high quality development, and outlook for 2035 at Renmin University in China. We met up with John Ross, a former director of economic and business policy for the Mayor of London, to get his take on Yellen's remarks. The views expressed in this video are his own and not necessarily those of Cgtn. What a huge text just to wash face. John Ross: China has got the leading position in this clean tech production. It supplies about 80% of the world's solar power, panels and products for solar powers, about 60% for wind, about 30% for water power. This is what's making possible the transition on a global scale to renewable energy, because many smaller countries can't produce such industries. That's just the truth. So they are going to do it. I guess that respond me when I complain about Chilean lack of lithium batteries energy. So today I'm not gonna release the dogs. You know why? Because the Akitas. And well, I'm just gonna read more two paragraphs, two sentences. Cgtn: why does she want to make the world go down this more expensive road? It is because China-US relationship or economic competition. Oh no, I just missed the first. What Yellen wants to do? She wants countries not to take the most cost-effective, the cheapest supplier. Which is China. She wants them to take more expensive ones Fourthly, this is very damaging for the US economy because it means it's going to make the transition in the United States more expensive. Secondly, most countries in the world are not going to go along with it. Why should they pay more for having renewable energy because the United States want them to pay more? They are not going to do it. That's why you've got, if you take for example China's success with things like the Belt and Road Initiative, this is not based upon similarities of political systems. If you look at the Belt and Road Initiative, you got every type of country. You can imagine you got socialist countries, China, Vietnam, you got monarchies, Thailand, you've got all sorts of republics. They want to get on with economic development. And Yellen is trying to advise the world to go down more expensive routes than the ones which are necessary, and most of the world are not going to do it. And it's damaging for the United States. Next time I will read this article for sure. But by now it's just a goodbye for you. And pray for us, pray for Tommy, and pray for the Akitas too, because these dogs, they want to kill they want to kill each other. Tommy, there's no Akita for you, Tommy. You will never fight those Akitas. Tommy.